And we are live. Good evening, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto, episode 453. Today is Friday, or as they say in some places, Friday, August 16th. And I am your host, King. Of course, this is where we bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day at 3-ish, and it's definitely that time. Today started off, I thought it was going to be a slow news day with not many stories. From what it was looking like, but it turns out that was false. Bakkt has come out announcing a September 23rd launch of their futures and custody platform in the United States. Coinbase custody by Zappo institutions, continuing their rapid expansion. Litecoin founder Charlie Lee comes out saying no one's interested in working on a Litecoin protocol. BBC journalist loses $30,000 in Ethereum from a rookie mistake, very rookie mistake actually. And Andreas Antonopoulos is going to teach the certified Bitcoin professional prep course in Denver for the blockchain training conference. And of course, we'll be talking about prices. So a lot of good news today. Hola, Madam Crypto. I see you are first here. To begin, of course, we'll talk about these prices, which haven't had much movement, at least not to us in the crypto sphere. For those maybe who are used to traditional investments, might have moved the ticker a bit. But you can see here, Bitcoin still hovering around that $10,000 range at $10,430. We saw a change up 0.89% on the day. Ethereum at $186, down 0.7%. Litecoin at $75, down 1.35%, which is actually pretty good after the news they just had for it not to really go crazy. Ripple is at 26 cent, down 0.7, and Bitcoin Cash is at $314, down 0.46. So those are the prices on the day. What's going on, Sergeant Crypto, stacking sats? You already know. Also want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's been listening to us on the podcast. Of course, we're on iTunes. iTunes podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio. That's what I want to say. iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, and a couple others. But I mean, since we've updated those last week, we've had over 5,000 downloads on the podcast. So crazy. Didn't expect it to be that much in a week. But glad to see everybody do like using the podcast and listening to it while they're driving, whatever. So we'll make sure to keep those updated. All right, top story of the day. Bakkt announces September 23rd launch of futures and custody platform in the United States. It is finally here. They've been teasing us and talking about it for a while. Of course, we knew they weren't going to launch when the market was down. But of course, since the market has since its initial launch dates turned around, looks like Bakkt is officially coming. It looks like their launch of their much anticipated platform for daily and monthly futures in the United States will be here. They put this out in the blog post today on August 16th. They're saying having received approval from the necessary regulators, the launch is scheduled for September 23rd. Bakkt's physically delivered futures have been the subject, of course, of a great deal of anticipation. They initially launched back in August of 2018. Continuously delayed it. Said it was because of compliance. As I said, I think it's because of the prices. Bitcoin was in a slump last year. But now they're saying they're ready to go. They will be having institutional services and custody, of course, which is a growing market here. You see that in the article. Bakkt is saying they're going to be partnering with Intercontinental Exchange Futures and in the U.S. and Intercontinental Exchange Clear U.S. to provide these contracts. And this is one of the things where Coinbase was talking about today. Brian Armstrong's CEO from Coinbase was saying that whether institutions were going to adopt crypto or not was an open question about 12 months ago, which I don't think so, but I get the point he's making. He's also said, I think it's safe to say we know now the answer. We're seeing 200 to 400 million a week in new crypto deposits come in from institutional customers. That is a crazy amount of money. $200 to $400 million a week coming in from institutional investors. So awesome to see, good for the market. And again, it's one of those things where we tell people don't listen to everyone around you telling you Bitcoin is dead. You got a CEO of one of the major companies telling you, hey, we're looking at about $200 million a week at a minimum coming in. And for people who think that's a lot, right now the whole entire crypto market is at about $186 billion. So 200 a week, actually, I mean, $200 million a week sounds about right. When you think about it, it's $800 million a month. let's say the last 2 years, or let's say this is ramped up about 6 months ago. So you literally 6 times that 800 million, it still is a drop in the bucket when it comes to $186 billion. So I would say that is about on track. And again, really good to see that. What's going on, Milto? Speaking of Coinbase and Brian Armstrong, Coinbase custody by Xapo institutions continuing their rapid expansion. It looks like Coinbase custody has reportedly acquired Xapo's institutional business to become the world's largest crypto custodian by assets under custody. Oh man, Grayscale, Binance, do you hear this news? They announced this in the post on the company's blog August 15th. The news follows rapid growth on the part of Coinbase's year-old custodial wing, which only 2 months ago reported assets under custody valued at $1.3 billion. However, after today, that puts their assets under custody at $7 billion. So they went from $1.3 billion 2 months ago to $7 billion right now, which by the numbers of what they stated, that's about right. That's about $200 to $400 million a week from institutional money. I mean, they literally have the numbers to back up that claim. So again, wow, you can go about anywhere from 4 to 6 months, $200 million a week just for Coinbase themselves. Yeah, that's about right. $1.3 billion to $7 billion. Xapo is itself a major crypto wallet provider who has apparently been in negotiations with Coinbase custody over the sale of his institution's business since the middle of May this year. One thing I want to add, we've been talking about Coinbase doing the IPO, possibly being worth, initially we were saying like 8 to like 10 billion. We have kind of pushed those numbers out to 9, anywhere from 9 to 12 billion, 12 to 14 billion. But that was a few months ago when we were talking about that as well. I mean, we were talking about that last year when they had assets under custody at 1.3 billion. So if this number is correct and Coinbase has $7 billion now of assets under custody, as well as some of their other programs and platforms they're launching, this might put Coinbase up to about $16 to $20 billion valuation now in the crypto space. If cryptocurrency, the industry continues to do what it's doing. I mean, Coinbase almost basically doubled their initial value we thought that they had for them. So that's pretty cool to see that when it comes from a cryptocurrency company, whether you like Coinbase or not. You know how we feel about it here. It's still a crypto company. It's still a unicorn company in the crypto space. So, of course, that brings attention to cryptocurrency from those major institutions and big organizations, which inevitably people believe will bring mass adoption. So hopefully we'll see that happen. What's going on, Fool with Money? Alec G, what's going on? B Money, peace to you and peace to the crypto fam. Clarence Dennison, hello, hello, hello. So it looks like, yeah, Coinbase custody, Brian Armstrong, they are continuing their march forward to take over all things that have to do with banks and cryptocurrency. So we'll see what happens. Somebody in the comment section is saying Coinbase will become the biggest exchange in the world. I mean, hey, they're on track right now. This was a disheartening story. However, I definitely understood where they were coming from. Charlie Lee, Litecoin founder, comes out saying no one is interested in working on the Litecoin protocol. Now, this he responded in a series of tweets to a leak chat that was leaked on a Reddit post, and you can see that here. And this is also on the article. You can find the article on bitcoinist.com, and the link for the Reddit post is here. But this chat was leaked on Reddit. It says Litecoin Foundation chat leaked, no evidence of a development and lack of transparency. They even have it that you can check these, where you can check the messages out on Telegram to ensure these are actual messages. I haven't done it myself yet, but again, this is pretty in depth. And then looking at the you got over 318 comments on this already. This is just 5 or 6 days ago. How old ago is this? Yeah, this is 7 days ago, so a week old. About 300 comments on Reddit. They go into detail. People are going back and forth. Again, Charlie Lee officially finally came out and said something in the post. According to this Reddit post submitted less than a week ago, the Litecoin code development arena is a ghost town. The post revealed a series of correspondence between Litecoin creator Charlie Lee and some members of the Litecoin Foundation. Again, Bitcoinist received some of these excerpts or this HTML download, the leaked chats. And the excerpt basically says one of the people who were working on the foundation with Charlie Lee, Franklin, I was extremely disappointed to discover that no progress had been made on CT, which of course stands for, I just saw it earlier, pardon me, I can't find it. It's a part of the Litecoin code, but no new progress has been made on CT since the announcement, especially when I stand on stage telling everyone it's happening and we are actively working on it. CT above, here we go, refers to confidential transactions, a protocol upgrade Lee promised via Twitter about 8 months ago. At the time, the Litecoin creator declared that CT will be available before the end of 2019. Last Sunday, Lee had took to Twitter to talk about those speculations. And accordingly, even though the Litecoin GitHub didn't show any code commits in 2019, we talk about GitHub where all the programmers go to do their code, work together. Things are open source. Everyone can see it. So he's saying even though it shows no updates in 2019, there's still work being done, which doesn't reflect on that master branch. Now, I get that, even though you are supposed to update that. I mean, on GitHub or any project, you're supposed to update it so other people can see what you're working on and work on it as well. However, I'm going to get to this in a moment. I understand where he's coming from, and he kind of explains it here. Here's 14 and 15 of those tweets. On number 14, he said, I dropped the ball on MWCT, MW referring to Mimblewimble, getting Litecoin up to speed on that. He said, for that, I apologize, but it's not fair at all to say that I have strung people along and tricked them. Except for the initial tweet, I haven't said 2019. When asked, I've only said things are moving slowly and we'll give an update when there is one. His 15th tweet said, that said, I believe it's time for me now to shift focus from adoption back to development. I still think fungibility is extremely important and will get the ball rolling on MWCT again. This time, I won't make any promises on dates. And then when talked about the criticism again, when responding to the criticism from another of the partners, Richards, Charlie Lee said something about the project. He said, the honest truth is that no one is interested in working on Litecoin protocol development or work, at least no one technically competent. You just can't throw money at the problem. This is true for Litecoin since the beginning. It only has me, Warren, and Thrasher. So to me, this was a big reveal. And I'm glad someone at his pedigree came out, the founder of Litecoin. A lot of the stuff in the crypto space are technical issues. It involves you reading and studying for long periods of time. Even when you talk about trading, like to learn to trade in the crypto space is totally different from everything else. So when you're talking about some of these projects, one thing we continuously say is, hey, it takes 2 to 3 years for upgrades because that's how long it takes to actually work with the tech side of things. I do think there is a big gap where people haven't fully realized yet that the projects, when you talk about Bitcoin, which has a ton of developers working on it, Litecoin or everything else, the gap between people understanding how long these projects take to actually get work done on versus what I guess people expect in the real world I think is very big. What I mean by that, Charlie Lee said you just can't throw money at the problem. A lot of these institutions and a lot of people coming in are thinking, hey, it's money. All they're thinking is money, money, money. They're not thinking any technical things. And we talked about this when it came to the jobs, the government jobs. The one job the Department of Commerce was hiring for, and then the other job about 2 weeks ago, I can't remember, which had the craziest resume you need to have for that job, the craziest qualifications they wanted, right? Those are the gaps I'm talking about. When we saw the first job offered by the federal government, we basically had 5 different career fields into one job position, and I said, like, that's not impossible, but it'll be improbable to find that person. That's the gap. That is the gap for someone like the federal government to think there are people out there that have all these qualifications that will come work for them for anything less than $500,000 is absurd. That is the technical gap. Again, it looked like that had been a little bit reformatted when the Department of Commerce came out. So it's the same thing with Litecoin. When you talk about Litecoin or Bitcoin or some of these other projects, people are just like, why hasn't it scaled yet? Why is it this problem? Why is it that problem? Why don't we have this yet? I mean, he's coming out and telling you there's actually only 3 people consistently working on the project. Now, with all of that being said, you're working on a project as big as Litecoin. Of course, the world wants it ASAP. But I mean, hey, can this guy live his personal life as well, right? Like, do we expect him to work on code 12 months straight? Or is he actually doing his job as well by going out and people seeing him, going to meetups, doing interviews for, podcast people or YouTubers and all that? I mean, he does all this stuff. So I get what he's saying. It's one of those things where he's being pulled in every direction. It's one of those things when you make it on American Idol, right? All of a sudden you're a famous singer now, and it's like, well, you don't have time to practice your craft anymore. You have to go do interviews. You have to go do this. You got to do that. It's like, well, you haven't made a new song in a new year. It's like, when do I have time to make a song? So that's my thing with the Charlie Lee and Litecoin situation. I honestly think that he, as well as his team, honestly are working on it. But hey, burnout is real. They've been working on this thing for a long time. Only 2 years ago, for the first time in 10 years, did they kind of receive that recognition of Litecoin being a major player, like a real. I mean, they've always been around, like silver to gold's Bitcoin, but for the world to find out about Litecoin, that happened in 2017, and then for the market to tank again. I mean, that has to be a lot on a founder of a project, especially when that project's supposed to be your baby. You're watching it grow up and get beat up, grow up and get beat up all over again. So I'm still a strong supporter of Litecoin and what Charlie Lee's doing. I kind of get it. I think he just has some burnout. And hopefully by him coming out and telling people that no one is technically competent to work on this and no one else is actually working on it, we can find more people that try to learn this stuff and go help out, which would, of course, speed up the progression of the project. So we'll see how that's going to go. Clarence Dennison said Litecoin is not going to go any. Okay, it will still be used. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a good project. And it's one of those things where not only is it a good project, it's a project where you can critique it, and the founder and some of the people, developers working on it, will respond back to you in a timely fashion. I mean, I love to see that. Some of these other projects out there that's had their pump and dumps are dead. If you were to critique them or their founder publicly, you wouldn't get any, you wouldn't get any feedback. You might get some of their puppets that say something back to you, but you wouldn't get any feedback because the project would probably really be dead. So interesting to see. Clarence Dennison said, how do we like the start of the market reversal today? I mean, it's the weekend. It is the weekend. We shall see. It's still summertime. We see if anybody want to take any last minute trips, but it's looking good so far. All right. This was a very interesting story. One that, of course, that hits close to home. Let me get this last comment. B Money said, yep, I'm a software developer, and to tackle those issues requires a competent team, which might mean money and trading needs to be allocated. The volunteer route of enhancements might be the old way. Money would definitely bring more interested developers, especially since it's a Bitcoin testnet. That is true, but the only thing here, I'll put up the chat so people can see this comment as well. I know it's on the side, but to make it bigger. The only thing about the money part of it, and I get what you're saying, you're right, the money would bring better people, especially on the federal level. But for something like Litecoin, I will almost be skeptical of it because with money comes stipulations. I mean, by and large, usually, right? So for the federal government, I'm with it. But for something like Litecoin, money would bring out the good people, but it also bring out whoever paid that money are going to be like, hey, is this business? What do I win back? What do I get back? Is it going to be one of those philosophical philanthropic? I can't say the word right now. Philanthropic philanthropy type of deal where people are really giving money to see Litecoin succeed, or will it be JP Morgan say, yeah, we'll give you the money you need for developers and just sign here on the dotted line and don't read the fine print. So we shall see. But this is a very interesting story. BBC journalist loses $30,000 Ethereum from rookie mistake. Wow. And shout out to BBC. I've actually worked with them in the past a couple of times with some stories. I know they do a great job. It's a great news organization. So, when you hear stories like this, at first you're like, okay, is this somebody that's just trying to make a headline? But I'll definitely give BBC the benefit of the doubt. But it looks like in a self-confession style report on the BBC website today, technology of business reporter Monty Mumford has revealed how he lost his crypto stash through a seemingly innocent mistake. The tone is clearly one of disdain for the industry, which he describes as a murky world following the theft of $25,000 of cryptocurrency from his wallet. He basically said he invested in 2017 in Ethereum. He thought it would be a long-term plan, a nest egg for a pension, something that many people as well are in the space for. Then he described his utterly terrifying, as he said, basically breach, his hack. He added that he opted for an online wallet as opposed to a crypto exchange for fear of hacks and security breaches. If you've been here listening to us long enough, you already know two things. You don't want to use an online wallet for sure because it's online and can be hacked, at least not for a lot of money. If you have spending change or whatever, I got, for some people, maybe a couple $100 that I'm going to use on Amazon to buy groceries or whoever, right? And the second thing, of course, is you don't keep all your money on exchange either. So this was definitely a rookie move in that his two options were that I'm going to use an online wallet since I don't want to use an exchange. Two terrible choices. Someone emailed us, asked us the other day what things we suggest. Again, we talked about Exodus wallet on the desktop. We talked about Armory on the desktop, blockchain wallet, mobile phone. Jax wallet, though it is, is owned by someone. Jax is still a decent wallet on your mobile phone as well. Of course, BRD wallet. You can print them off on QR codes on paper wallets. We've done tutorials on Open Dimes, which is basically like a USB thumbstick. We still have those tutorials up on our YouTube. So there's plenty of other places besides an exchange or online wallet. Now, his online wallet that he chose, unfortunately, was my Ether wallet, which actually was, it's been under attack now, or had been under attack for about a year straight. People were trying to hack in those wallets and to mess up some of the code there. So he was on my Ether wallet. He had both public and private keys to his Ethereum stash, and he was aware that a private key needed to be stored securely, but this was a screw up. He said he printed it out, but he also made the fateful decision to store it in my Gmail drafts so I can copy it and paste it when I need to make a transaction rather than laboriously typing it out each time. All right. So, link to the BBC story. You know what? Pardon me, people. I actually forgot I can put links in the chat. I'll put the link to the Litecoin conversation on Reddit there too. And it gave me an error message. It's giving me an error message. I am not sure. I'll just give you the bitcoinist.com, and you all can go on there. It's like this top story, top 1 or 2 stories up. Yeah, they're not letting me do this for some reason. Bitcoinist. There we go. Nope, none of my chats are working. I love it. I love YouTube sometimes. Anyway, I think I know why. For whatever reason, it's paused me out of my account, so it probably won't allow me to. All good. I'll put the link up after the video. But I'm glad he pointed out what happened, and I honestly believe this story, and I believe it because I've made these same rookie mistakes. I know other people have made these same rookie mistakes. If you bought Bitcoin Zay's new book, Bitcoin in Black America, he talks about a hack we had, and again, that hack was about, ballpark is about 30K as well. I'm not sure if you put that number on it, but something like this we saw not only with our hack, with other hacks. This is going to happen when you get hacked, people, or the ransomware hits or any of that hits. They're going to have access to all of your emails. Most people still don't even know password managers exist. So first, I would say to get you a good password manager. I know 1Pass is one. Personally, I use what is this called? Am I using 1Password? I use 1Password. I forgot the name of the other popular one. LastPass. I know LastPass is one. I personally use 1Password. For those who don't know what a password manager is, it is basically like an app you can leave in your internet browser or on your cell phone, where you have a master key where it encrypts all your passwords, and you can put thousands of passwords into one thing where you can link them to websites, cut, copy, and paste. However, no one can get inside of that password thing except you, only if you have that key or the backup. Now, the only thing is, if you lose the key and the backup, and basically all the fail safes and all those passwords you had in there are going to be lost forever unless you haven't written them down somewhere. So that is the only thing. But as far as managing it and managing hacks, it is great to use. Now, back to the actual hack. Once a hacker hacks you or you catch ransomware, they're going to go through all your emails because they know people actually do that. People will send passwords via email. They'll send personal details, social security numbers through the email, and they don't go through and delete their email. So first thing I would say is ensure, every 2 to 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, if you don't have it set up automatically, go in and delete all of your messages, whether it's sent messages and trash messages. Everything you don't need, delete. And then second thing, what happens is these hackers will literally spend their day going through all of your emails, one by one, reading them until they find the information they need for different websites, or in this case, cryptocurrency wallets and passwords, and they will just farm it out. It's almost like a social engineering attack, but they will spend all day doing it. So again, I've seen this actually happen before from other people as well. And with the Google, one thing we've talked about here as well, unless you have G Suite, Google's business accounts, if someone hacks your Google email, the chances of you getting back is very rare. My Google email was hacked when I did not have G Suite. And the only reason I received it back is because I literally had emails saved from years ago on the same email account. But other than that, I've heard horror stories about it. You can't get it back. With G Suite, if you get hacked, your Google Mail gets hacked. They take that very personal because now you're a paying customer to Google. And to them, that's like you're part of the Google family. And if you know about Google, they aren't the ones that get pushed around on any medium. So if you're a part of Google family, you're paying that $5. I think they might have bumped it to $6 or $7 a month. For G Suite, they actually give you, 24/7 tech support as far as emails and the chat messages. But you can also call them. They will give you a number for them to call you, or you to call them, whatever. But you can call them and talk to somebody. Again, I've done this already, and it's a different experience, people. If your G Suite gets hacked, I mean, they are on it. They're trying to figure out who did it for you, because they don't play that. But if it's just your Gmail that gets hacked, again, it's a free email address. They don't really care. So the cool thing about this story, though, this is a BBC journalist, right? Now you're messing with somebody who got some plugs. I don't know that many people, right? Not to the BBC journalist. So he went ahead and did research into the actual crime, which I did as well. And I traced my person back to the Philippines. However, you know how VPNs and stuff goes. Who knows, right? But his research into the crime led him to Binance wallets, which were used to bounce the stolen loot to other wallets. The world's top exchange did not respond fast enough and proved uncooperative until official crime numbers and reports were obtained. Feeling despondent, he then contacted U.S. bounty hunters, Cypherblade, who work with the FBI to track down cyber criminals. A little more information on the theft was revealed, but chances of getting the lost ether back were slim. Social engineering or a phishing scam may have been used to access the Gmail account, or malware may have tagged the keystrokes or copy-paste actions. I highly doubt he got hit with the malware. It probably was a phishing or a social engineering. Either way, this crypto investor won't be back, labeling the scene as a savage bazaar where criminals can pickpocket you at will. Wow. He called the crypto space a savage bazaar where criminals can pickpocket you at will. That is crazy. First of all, are we in Latin calling it a savage bazaar? But what I will say, I understand when this happens, it can make you very sick. When our hack happened, believe me, I was like, when I say I was sick, people, I was in a bad way. It's actually, if you know, I had my other podcast. That's when my other podcast disappeared a couple years ago. And I started focusing 100% of my time on crypto. Because in our case, we were lucky where some of our bigger wallets weren't hit, but a big enough wallet clearly was. But yeah, this will make you want to leave the space. But we call that, your admission to the crypto space. Like, a lot of people have been hacked. Think about all the BitConnect people, scams. Like, this is admission to the space. So one thing I will say that this article does highlight, though, is that you can't really blame this on the space. He used MyEther wallet, online wallet. If you did any research on MyEther wallet, you would have known they've been under attack as well. And I saw, it was either in an article or in the comment section, somebody basically put, what he did was essentially leaving his keys in a running car, getting upset when someone stole it, right? Like, you're using an online wallet, you're using MyEther wallet, you're leaving your keys in a running car on a busy street in New York City, and you're just like leaving the door open and walking off for days, right? That's not a good thing to kind of do. So Alec G, thank you. Alec G said Dashlane is also good password manager with the VPN built in. B Money said Keep Pass is another one. Christopher Ladd said Proton email. So here's my thing too about Proton email. I know Bitcoin Zay uses it as well for some of his stuff. I like Proton email as well. However, with Proton, is so new, it's still pretty new, and not a lot of people know about it. I don't know how many people have actually even tried to attack it, right? So my thing is, who knows how strong it is and if it actually works the way they always say, because they're actually still developing, they're building on it. And again, I'm a fan of it, so I'm not saying anything negative. My thing is, it's kind of like when it comes to new browsers as well. It's the reason why I don't use Brave primarily yet, because it's so new. It's like, all right, has every hacker in the world got his crack at it yet? That's how I feel about Proton right now. I'm like, all right, have you become big enough for these top hackers to say, well, let me see if I can do it? So for me, I like to kind of wait and see, but it is a good email service as well. Yep, Milto said, don't play football unless you can take a hit and watch your ass for cheap shots. That is very true when it comes to space. There we go. Wire Spark said Proton email is true. Like I said, Bitcoin Zay loves it too. Bitcoin Zay uses it. He put me on it as well. I use it. I love it as well. But again, it's just one of those things where, hey, you got to make sure that thing's being tested. For this BBC journalist, again, this sucks. But, hopefully they come back into the space and don't let the hack keep them away. If anything, the hack should cause you to do more research and learn more about the space so you know how to protect yourself. All right, last but not least, a great news story. Andreas Antonopoulos to teach certified Bitcoin professional prep course in Denver. That is right. I actually received the email for this a few days ago. If you're a certified Bitcoin professional, then you may have likely received the email as well. It's something we told many people. If you plan on being in the space as a professional, you should go ahead and get the certificate while it's still, inexpensive and, fairly easy to get. Because as time goes, we're already seeing it. All these schools are starting to offer stuff, 4-year programs, 2-year master programs in blockchain. Well, this certificate right now can, put you in that arena already as a Bitcoin professional, knowing some of the basics, or at least having a standard, especially coming from someone as renowned as Andreas Antonopoulos. And you won't have to go back to school and get all these certificates. And 5 years from now, when people start looking at you crazy, like, you don't have a blockchain degree in this, like, how are you doing the work? And you're telling them, well, I've been around before the degree. You at least have certificates to kind of show them. So if you already are part of this, you receive that email as well. I was going to try to go to the conference. However, it is kind of short notice. But Blockchain Training Conference 2019 will be in Denver, Colorado from August 28th to 30th. And it looks like, and I've already saw a lineup, a very good lineup. Industry luminaries from the crypto community like Andreas Antonopoulos, Renee Pickard, Jameson Lopp, which again, another huge developer to be there, Pamela Morgan, and many others have joined forces to educate the masses. Prolific speaker and author of Mastering Bitcoin, Andreas Antonopoulos, recently announced he will personally teach the conference's certified Bitcoin professional preparation courses. It's aimed at beginners, professionals like accountants and lawyers who can utilize cryptocurrency in their careers, and for developers who want to learn more about programming in the blockchain tech. The classes are designed to prepare attendees to take the CBP examination. The test was created by the world's leading blockchain and cryptocurrency nonprofit certification organization, Cryptocurrency Certification Consortium, the C4, which is also hosting BTC 2019. So that's what I'm talking about, the certified Bitcoin professional. Bitcoin Zay has his, I have mine. We actually know a couple other of our warriors who went and got theirs already as well. Here's the website for that. Oh my goodness, I hate when I've been on the chat cam for so long. My bad, people. Here's the website for that, Crypto Certified Consortium. Here, let me see if I can actually log back into my my Gmail, my Google account, so I can actually send these links. I have no clue how to log me out. I hope I'm not going through an Bellina right now and talking about hacks as I'm getting actually hacked live. That would not be great. All right, I'll log back in. Let's see if I can send these links out again. I'll try the Bitcoin-ness. All right, boom, it's working. It is working. There we go. That's the Bitcoin-ness for the BBC article. And here is the link for the C4 Consortium. All right, so the cool thing about this conference, to give you a heads up, the tickets are expensive like all Bitcoin and crypto conferences. I think the ticket is like $700. But the actual good thing about this one, from what I saw, they are teaching. This isn't going to be a Lamborghini over here, a girl with some triple D's over here in short skirt, which we've seen at conference. It is what it is. I know it does bring people, whatever, bring the masses. But this is the one where they're saying, hey, these tickets are still expensive, but you have Andreas Antonopoulos teaching classes. You can ask some questions. We have Jameson Lopp teaching classes. Actually, these are people actually working on some of the most, they have some of the most sought after positions in crypto. Of course, Andreas, he's talked to the Canadian Senate a couple years ago about cryptocurrency. So here's this conference schedule and sessions. Again, here's the prep course, 90 minutes. What is it? Accounting for cryptocurrencies course, law and regulatory issues in crypto, AML and fraud for crypto, cryptography. This is actually the schedule. Let me see the teachers here, if I can pull that up. Again, all the teachers are here again, very good. You got Lightning Labs, Olawa Osunkantu. I mispronounced his name, but again, a lot of great teachers, and they're all actually going to be teaching classes. I think that's super cool. From some of the conferences I've been to, it's not a lot of teaching going on. I mean, real crypto conference that we went to last year. I mean, they literally had people that we knew had only been in crypto for 3 to 6 months on panels talking to people. So, again, a lot going on with that one, but this looks like this is going to be the one to go to. Along with preparing individuals to take the Certified Bitcoin Professional exam, Antonopoulos prep course will educate attendees on the history of money, Bitcoin, how the price of Bitcoin is derived, basic cryptographic terms, hash functions, encryption, and digital signatures. Bitcoin basics, including addresses, keys, transactions, the blockchain, Bitcoin as a unit, ways to earn, buy, sell, and store Bitcoin, blockchain explorers, and unspent transaction outputs. You remember those UTXOs? We talked about that yesterday when it comes to dusting wallets. That's coming from the UTXO. So we're talking about dusting wallets to possibly scam people or to market for a company. That goes through the unspent transaction outputs, that little bit that's left over. They'll be talking about Bitcoin wallets, specifically wallet types, hot code, paper, hardware, multi-sig. I bet that BBC News reporter bet he heard this first. Bitcoin clients and wallet backup recovery, and Bitcoin commerce, how to accept Bitcoin products and services. So again, they are going full force, all in depth. It looks like it's going to be more of an immersive educational conference. And I think they'll also be testing people for the exam. It looks like after taking the course, attendees can choose to take the C4 Certified Bitcoin Professional exam on site. How cool would that be to take the exam and to pass on site when Andreas Antonopoulos is there? So again, a lot going on. This is the the blockchain training conference 2019. We put that link in there already, as well as the C4 website too. So a lot of good information here. If you want to stay in this space long term, go ahead and jump on this stuff. Again, if you listen to us every day, I tell you now, you're like 60% done with the Certified Bitcoin Professional, because we've said a lot of the stuff that's on the test actually just talking. So you'll be fine on that. And if not, ask us for some help and we'll throw you our tidbits when we can. Other than that, that is the show for the day. And I keep taking it off of the article screen. Pardon me, everybody. But here was the blockchain training conference. Boom. Other than that, that is the show for the day, people. What's going on, Edwin IT? Edwin IT said, WTH, what did I miss? I just came in when King said triple D's. Hilarious. I was talking about throwing some D's on him down there in Alabama. And B Money, yeah, definitely looking at certification. It's really good. Again, it's good to have in your back pocket, especially as the space starts to legitimize themselves. Other than that, people, that is the show for today. As always, thank you for watching. If you like this, learned something from it, took value, make sure you smash that like and share button so we can get this YouTube algorithm popping as usual. Other than that, have a happy Friday, and we will see you all next week. Cheers.